begin. So I want to welcome everyone to today's webinar. We're going to take the very first look at the brand new Dragon Medical Practice Edition 4. This product has been a long time coming. We've had Practice Edition 2, the previous version, in the field for some small number of years and wondering when the next version would come out, but the wait is worth it. My name is Ray Kuhl. I'm CEO of PBSI Technology Solutions. So our goal today is to educate and inform. I hope everybody who participates will learn something. Some of you are already using Dragon Medical. You're using a prior version and you're wondering what's better, what's different. Some of you, this may be your first exposure to Dragon Medical, and if so, you're in for a treat. In 30 years in the technology business, Dragon Medical is my single favorite tech product. It's a wonderful piece of software that works, and increasingly so with versions as they progress. So thank you for joining. Our agenda today is really short. We'll review features and pricing in the new Dragon Medical 4. We'll go through a demonstration of Dragon Medical 4 and highlight what has changed, what's faster, a little bit about how it's accomplished. And then we'll talk about training. What is the difference between the large number of physicians and providers out there who say this is the best thing I've ever used, that really helps my dictation, I'm fantastically more efficient every day, and those who say, yeah, Dragon Medical, yeah, I use it, it's okay. What's the difference? Generally speaking, the difference is training. So we're going to do some free training today. Hopefully this will be of benefit to everybody. So for those who are not familiar, Nuance is the manufacturer and nationwide, in fact, international publisher of Dragon Medical. Publicly traded, they own Dictation. By far, they're the single dominant market share leader in voice recognition, not only with physicians. There are 500,000 physicians in the United States alone using Dragon Medical. Virtually all of the hospitals have gone to it, and for good reason. It's just a fantastic product, and it really delivers on reducing the amount of typing that a physician needs to do. PBSI's role in this as the premier partner and Dragon Medical specialist in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, we're by far the largest in the region whose job is to help clients use Dragon successfully. So whether you've purchased Dragon someplace else, whether you purchase the upgrade from us, which you'll save money doing, by the way, but regardless of where you've purchased Dragon, you've come to the right place with PBSI in terms of expertise. So our focus is on-site training, or in some cases web training, and ongoing support. So what has changed? First of all, license-wise, the cost of Dragon Medical in its latest version is unchanged. So a new user license is $1,599 one time, and that will be discounted for webinar attendees. For those of you using existing Dragon Medical, listen up because the details are important here. If you're using the most recent prior to this, Practice Edition 2, the upgrade cost is $599, and that presumably will remain the same for at least a couple of years. For those using Practice Edition 1, the upgrade price is $599, but only until March 31st. So more specifically, Nuance has said that a physician or provider using Practice Edition 1 really doesn't have an upgrade. They need to purchase the new product at $1,599, but they can upgrade until March 31st at the difference in price. So if you're using Practice Edition 1, absolutely you should make this investment. It's a one-time fee. There are no ongoing monthly fees associated. Anyone with Practice Edition, version 10.1 or prior, there is no upgrade fee. So this is very cost-effective for something that only happens every 2 or 3 years to purchase an upgrade, because there are lots of things that are improved. So I'm going to just quickly discuss those, and I'm going to demonstrate. So speaking to those who use Practice Edition 2, all of these things are true. If you use Practice Edition 1, these things are more true because the improvement between version 1 and 2 was fairly radical. The difference between 2 and 4, again, is very important. So it's stated that we'll experience faster launch time. I've observed that. Dragon appears faster in every respect. They cite a dramatically improved acoustic model for speech recognition, and I've seen a graph that's completely indecipherable, but the previous version of Dragon looks back 4 words. So if you're in a sentence, you're on the 5th word, it gets its context from your previous 4 words and the word you're speaking now. With New Dragon, it looks back a sentence, or in some cases an entire paragraph, to decide the context of what you're about to say. And it really makes a difference to help Dragon produce the correct word you're trying to say, even if you stumble a bit. So important are improved support for those using Chrome, Windows 10, Microsoft Office, really in all its variations. The compatibility and the amount of mistakes that it will make inside of those applications have been really reduced. So that the training features and the retention of commonly misrecognized and corrected words has improved, and I've seen that in my own experience, though I have limited sample size. I've really only had a few days to work with Dragon Medical, the latest version. There are some new libraries of auto text or templates available. The upgrade process continues to be simplified with each release. Now it will automatically upgrade your prior voice profile, so you don't have to retrain, but in fact, for a new user, there is no more new user profile training. You tell it a few pieces of information about yourself and off you go. But if you're using Dragon already and you've done a lot of spell correction and have a lot of referring names and patient names and so forth, all of those will automatically come along with your upgrade when you install the new Dragon. So microphone source detection has been improved. So now you no longer, if you're using a power mic and you choose to use the internal microphone on a laptop or a headset mic, you don't need to retrain with the new microphone. And it's been optimized for touchscreens. You'll see the interface here in just a bit so that you can touch to turn your microphone on and off if you have a touch laptop. And the security has been improved, which is really important in today's world. So that's a list. Now let's talk about a demonstration. So on your screen, on the right-hand side, you see a picture of both the PowerMic 2 and 3. These microphones are functionally identical. So no matter which of these you have, they work exactly the same way. They have the same buttons. The new 3 is just a little smaller, lighter, thinner, but no functional difference. So you can use, that is the preeminent popular microphone for 90-something% of providers using Dragon Medical. Alternatively, you can use your iPhone or Android or headset mic, internal mic. There are virtually any microphone you have will work. Simply, those of us who've used a power mic, we know that the efficiency of being able to use one hand on my computer and the other hand with Dragon, it just really improves productivity. So I'm going to be using the PowerMic 3 as I demonstrate today. So I'm going to move now quickly to demonstrating. So many of these features that you're going to see on the screen existed already in a form in Dragon Medical 2. So each of these, what I'm going to try and do is identify the key elements that we find are most frequently underutilized by providers. And I'll talk about which ones have been important enhancements. So first of all, most folks who use Dragon understand the idea of templates, or also called shortcuts, or different names, but basically we store auto texts and we can pull them into Dragon with a word. So I'm going to use a template now, and I'm going to do some things with the select command, and I'm going to move pretty quickly. So listen up, because I'm going to speak quickly and I'll move from feature to feature quickly. So here I am in Microsoft Word. My cursor is where Dragon is going to begin producing text. On my screen, very, very small, is a little picture of a red microphone. So that's a microphone not listening to me. When I touch my power mic on button, that's going to turn green and Dragon will begin listening. And that's what I'm going to do now. Patient is a 26-year-old male presenting today for lower back pain and intestinal difficulties, period, new paragraph. Patient's BP was 210/180, and I'm really concerned about medication dosage, especially Hyzar oral and Lipitor 20 milligrams BID, which seems to possibly be the incorrect dosage, period, new paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and you can see it gets punctuation, it gets spelling, it's fast, it's just incredibly productive, and there's not much more I need to say or can say other than watch it work, and you'll see in a medical context, it's just extremely good. And it knows my specialty, and it knows if I'm speaking about a particular area of the body that it's going to presume some things, like it knows what L1 and L2 are when I'm speaking about the back and so forth. Okay, so one thing I did is I spoke some text. Now, let's say I made a mistake. I want to correct. So I'm going to use the select command to correct. This is if there's a most common feature that people get frustrated with, it's the select command, changing. I hear people say, it's difficult to edit text. No, really, it's not difficult. What's important is that I understand the command, the select command. So a couple of key things. When I search for text, I want to make sure and search using at least 2 or 3 words. Select a phrase, not a word. It will dramatically improve Dragon's ability to find the text I'm trying to change. And then make sure I have just a brief pause between the word select. If I say I want to select this text really concerned about, maybe if I say I want to select something and I use the select command, and then I look around on the screen trying to find my text, by the time a couple of seconds have elapsed and I find that text, Dragon thinks, well, that must not have been the select command. So let me show it using it correctly and then incorrectly. Select really concerned about, moderately concerned about, go to bottom. Okay, so I selected the text and Dragon replaces whatever text I had selected with my voice. So now I'm going to use it incorrectly. I'm going to pause too long. Select moderately concerned. So Dragon says, I don't think so. There was too long of a pause. He wasn't really trying to select text, so I'm just going to produce the words he said into text. So one really important area, use the select command, learn how to use that well, and your life will be radically better. So next field and next field defaults. I'm going to use a template now that has defaults. So I'll show you how this might work. Normal hypertension. New paragraph. Normal GI. So I'm going to stop with my microphone for a second and identify that this template that I used has some brackets in it. So what's going to happen, I have a button on my microphone that I'm going to either speak something to replace that highlighted text, or I'm going to just tab forward. Nothing unusual. No adenopathy. Irregular heartbeat. Nothing to report, except defaults. So what I just did, when I skipped from field to field, I was doing so with the button on the microphone and the left and right bracket to find the places where the cursor stopped by me touching a button on the microphone. And then when I said accept defaults, that's when it gets rid of the brackets and says that must be exactly what he wants to, the way he wants to leave that. So what I just demonstrated is a template that had some fill in the blanks and some defaults in the fill in the blanks. The template works just as well if all of the blanks are empty. So this works really well for areas where a typical dictation for a typical patient would be very common, but frequently I'll override dosage or medication or something else that I just want to fill in. So a point here, for those of you who aren't familiar with Dragon, we're not trying to replace all the clicks in your EHR. Click your exam, fine, your review systems, however you want to do it best, but where Dragon really shines is when otherwise you would type. So chief complaint, history of present illness, assessment and plan are the most typical areas where we just want to say what we want to say, and there is nothing approaching the speed of Dragon. So next field defaults. Now I'm going to use a command, make that a shortcut, and this is one of the most important things that we can learn, and this feature has really gotten better with current version of Dragon. So the idea here is, let's say that I had just spoken all of this, and I think, I just made myself a pretty good hypertension exam. I don't want to include this stuff up here, but if I saved all of this as a template, I could avoid some time next time I do this. So now that this text is selected, I'm going to use this feature called Make That a Shortcut. I'm going to do that now. Make that a shortcut. Sorry, my mistake. I'm going to do this one more time. Make that a shortcut. Unusual hypertension. Click Save. Okay, so what just happened? I had my text selected. When I used the command name, make that a shortcut, it took everything that was selected and it filled in the content of a template, and the cursor stopped in the name of the template. And I used unusual hypertension with my voice to save that. And then I used the click command, another feature. If you say click and then something after that, you can say Click design, click layout, click anything that appears on your screen as a link or a button. The click command with your voice can replace the need to click on it with your mouse. So there are some things that you can do. Click enter, click tab key, that kind of thing. Click command is also useful. So now that I've set up my shortcut, I'm going to demonstrate how that's used. Patient was here today for an unusual hypertension exam. New paragraph. Unusual hypertension. Okay, what's the difference? I use the same words, unusual hypertension, but when I use them in a sentence, Dragon says, it's just words, get the context right. But when I had a pause at the beginning and end, and I used unusual hypertension, then it says that must be a command. Sure enough, there it is, and it displays the results. So learn how to make new templates with make that a shortcut. Now, another thing that commonly happens is, okay, I've used this to successfully make templates, but I don't remember their names. So here's a place where the feature has changed. If you used the feature or use the feature in Dragon Medical Now where you have the feature, what can I say? That no longer does the same thing. The new feature is called Open Command Browser. So if you learn this, it's really the only functional difference of which I'm aware at this point. So the idea is I'm speaking along here and I know I have a template, doggone it, I can't remember the name of it, so I'm going to use this command, Open Command Browser. I'll do that now. Open Command Browser. So on my screen is displayed in alpha order all of the templates. So I use the word normal with a lot of my exams. It doesn't matter what it's called, but if I was looking for normal lung or normal GI or whatever, I now say, yeah, okay, that's the one I was looking for, normal lung. So I didn't have to remember the name of that command. So now let's say I've done some dictation here and I want to do a couple of other things. 1 week. Select 1 week. 1 month. Period. New paragraph. My thank you. New paragraph. My signature. So the idea, and by signature, that's a graphic actually. I can pull in actual written signatures. I can pull in images. We can set up a Dragon template that your entire letter is in here, and so your logo and your name and address and so forth are all filled in for you by Dragon. So what I just demonstrated was the use of Open Command Browser to find things that I can say. So I'm going to come back. We're getting close to the end of demonstration. So a couple other things I want to cover quickly. So now how does what can I say work? Let me do that. What can I say? And do that. What can I say? So what shows up now is a list of things that I can choose from. So if I'm looking for navigation like go to bottom, go to end, or correction commands like select, or formatting commands like bold, I can just speak this. So I could say, show navigation commands. That's the one I was looking for, go back. Okay, so the idea is you don't have to remember the available commands. Now there's a query, what can I say, that displays them on the screen. So another thing that's really useful, so if you don't do internet search with Dragon Medical Now, pay attention to this because this works in prior versions as well, but it's really gotten better in recent versions. I'm in the middle of an encounter with a patient and the patient asks a question about what it says on the internet, and instead of avoiding that, I'm going to say, well, let's take a look. So I'm in the middle of my EHR or Microsoft Word, wherever I am, I'm going to use a command called search website name for condition. Here's how I do it. Search up to date for insomnia. Click classification of sleep disorders. So what did I just do? I used search website name, in this case up to date, for insomnia, and it acted as if I had typed them on a keyboard. And then it had a list of things that I could click, and I realized that I could have clicked this with a mouse, so I said click classification of sleep disorders. So this idea of being able to search the internet, when you use this search command, Dragon looks and asks itself, what's the default browser on this PC? And it's either Chrome or Internet Explorer or Firefox or Edge, whatever it is, and it uses that. I'm going to do it one more time. Search WebMD for encephalitis. And you can see the results. So the internet search command is really, really worthwhile for those times that you want to do research on your own. Okay, hidden mode, real quickly. Hidden mode is a useful feature, and this has really improved. It used to be I was frustrated in the use of hidden mode. So hidden mode, the idea is I have my EHR in front of me. I'm looking at something in the patient's chart, and I want to dictate, but I want to look around at prior things in the chart from previous, and I want to continue dictating and have that accumulate. So I'm going to touch a button now that brings up hidden mode or dictation box. Now what happens is as I start speaking, the text is going to accumulate in this translucent box, and I can go clicking around and look at other places in the patient's chart, and the text will continue to accumulate until I say, okay, now I'm ready to put this text down. So I'll show you how this works. Patient is here today for a review evaluation. I'm turning my microphone off, so you see no text is put here. I could go click around and do something else in my EHR. New paragraph, previous lab results show improvement in HDL last visit period, new paragraph. And then I go look around, I click someplace else in my EHR. I want to discuss the patient's previous hypertension medication, as I believe we should probably change, period. Now I'm ready to go back to the place in EHR, and I either press a button or I say transfer text. And everything I've been accumulating is put down one time. So instead of going to the EHR, finding the spot I need to put that, speak my text there, then go look somewhere else, come back, put some more text there. Now I can do it all at once and place it all at once. So one more thing I'm going to demonstrate, and I'm going to move on to last important topic. So here's a real difference maker in the quality of Dragon in current version. So it used to be that I had to be fairly precise in speaking with Dragon. Now I no longer do. I'm going to really, quote, butcher some dictation here, and you'll see what Dragon does. Patient is here today for a evaluation, and the patient seems a little nervous, period. So it's not always perfect in doing this, but I truly have no idea how it takes the ridiculosity that I spoke and turns it into text that actually is correct. So that's another feature. So with Dragon now you can store repetitive formatting like bolding and underlining. We can store network voice profiles, so you carry your voice profile with you from room to room and from PC and laptop and home. And we can set the power mic so that certain buttons do things. These are all really, really useful. They're free. They don't cost money, just require some expertise. So here are some things that really have, they separate folks who really use Dragon effectively and love it from others. So the thing I want to just comment about quickly is, okay, spend your $599 on your upgrade, but get some training. I don't care about selling training. What I do care about, truly, Dragon is such a fantastic product. I hate it when I hear from somebody, yeah, it's okay, or nah, it just didn't work for me. And what I'm thinking to myself is, there is no way on God's green earth that it didn't work for you. What is going on is either you have a really old version, or there's some training things, just a little bit of assistance, and you could turn yourself into a barn burner of a fast dictation and documentation person. So what we find really works is one-on-one on-site training. If you're an existing Dragon user, one on-site training session with a trainer standing behind you, working with you in your EHR, saying, try this, leads to questions. We have an agenda of things we go through, but we make sure that you have practical experience in using the features, because if most of you are like me, you listen to somebody do something like what Ray is doing today, and maybe your takeaway is, gee, that seemed easy. Gee, he must be really experienced or something. Not really. But I can tell you that when I first started using Dragon, I pulled it out of the box, and it seemed, this is like the free version on my iPhone. Why is this so important? And day after day, week after week, month after month, different questions from trainers. So are you familiar with this feature? Do you use that feature? No, what are you talking about? I've learned that, oh my gosh, without the expertise to show me how to get from here to there, I never would have moved from mediocre use of Dragon to advanced use of Dragon. And you're not spending a lot of money to have the training done, generally in the grand scheme of things, and it's really worth it. So, so that's a strong recommendation. So for those of you who have not used Dragon in the past, a new license is $1,599 plus the cost of a PowerMic 3. We discount new licenses for existing clients. You'll spend $300 to $500, $600, depending on where you're located, for a couple of training sessions, some installation, and you're going to spend approximately per speaker for a new license $2,600. If you figure over 5 months, you're going to pay for an upgrade sometime, 5 years, you're going to average about $50 a month for Dragon Medical. And when you divide that down to, $13 a week, the productivity gains are, for most people, incredibly obvious. So for those of you who are upgrading, your cost, certainly until March 31st, is $599 and some training if you wish. So much lower cost. So I want to thank you. We are finished with content today. And by the way, this slide is not updated. This discount is good for new licenses for orders placed through the end of March. So, and upgrades isn't discountable. Really, it's all that money is going to Nuance, which is fine with us. You get the right version of software, and you're on your way. So if you would like follow-up, please ask us. We're happy to help. We're finished with information today. I want to thank you for your attendance. Hope everybody has a great day.